from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka. This is the news on the national television Rupavahini, reading from the second budget and many more stories. Bringing you stories for today is Charita Minipuru Arachi and I'm Shara Mascarenas. First, it's a look at the day's headlines. Debate over the second reading of the budget 2023 begins. Bail granted to former MP Hirunika and 14 others. 22,000 metric tons of fertilizer arrives in the Colombo port. Distribution of urea for Maha season to commence tomorrow. 15,000 kilograms of fish trapped in a fishing net in Wat Dua. The world population passes the 8 billion mark.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top local story. The debate on the second reading of the budget 2023 was commenced today.
The debate was commenced by the Samagi Jana Balawegaya parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva. President Ranil Wickremesinghe was also present at the Parliament chamber. Parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva said that the budget consists of positive elements for the future. He added that there is an increase in the 3-Posha program for the pregnant mothers and the school nutritious food program. He said that the country requires a new mandate to lay the foundation for a new hope and requested the president to extend this right for the people.
අපි සතුටටපත් වෙනවා. එහෙම තමයි දේශපාලනය කරන්න. රුපියල් බිලියන 256ක් දාලා තියෙනවා පාරවල් හදන්න. කෝ සමාජ සාධාරණයේ කතානායකතුමනි කපුටගේ කූඩුවේ බිත්තර දාපු රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ නැවති කොහාට නිවැරදි ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න බැරි ඔබතුමා ඔය වැටුණ උගුලේ ඉඳලා බැරි බව මේ අයවැයින් ඔප්පු වෙනවා ගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමනි.
They told me it's a good UNP budget.
අපේ රටට අලු බලාපොරොත්තුවක් ඕනේ. ඒ බලාපොරොත්තුවට අදිතාලම දාන්න අලු ජනවරමක් රටට අවශ්‍යයි කතානායකතුමා. ජනතාවට අයිතිය ලබා දෙන්න ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඔබට ඒ හැකියාව තියෙනවා. ඒකයි අපි කියන්නේ. ඔබතුමා හැමදාම කියන කණ්ඩායමක් මේ පැත්තේ ඉන්නවා ගරු. ඔබතුමාටත් ලේසි.
මම හර්ෂ සිල්වා මැතිතුමාගේ කතාව අහන්න ඉඳගත්තේ ඉස්කෝලේකුත් අරගෙන එතුමාගේ සුවිශේෂී ආර්ථික
Minister Ranjit Siamalapitiya said that Dr. Harsha De Silva only made a political statement instead of an economic outlook over the budget. He said that the finance minister faced great challenges in preparing the budget 2023 as 60% of the public are expecting reliefs. He added that 1.7 million beneficiaries received Samurdhi allowance, which has been increased from 5,000 rupees to 7,500 rupees a month. He pointed out that 10.8% of the fiscal expenditure has been allocated for reliefs. Creating a new economy for the youth with a new approach which goes beyond the traditional political engagement involving agitation, struggles and strikes has been recognized as one of the main objectives of the Budget 2023. The attention of the Budget 2023 has been directed on creating a new export-oriented competitive economy while encouraging the private sector.
Since the export of cinnamon products traditionally occupies a leading position, measures should be taken for the furtherance of the industry. Sri Lanka's cinnamon products have developed a unique identity globally, and its export of value-added products should further be encouraged. Therefore, the Budget 2023 has been proposed to establish a separate department for the development of the cinnamon industry in Karandini area, where cinnamon cultivation is widespread. A provision of 200 million rupees has been allocated in this regard. The Budget 2023 has been proposed to extend an insurance coverage to provide a monthly allowance for a maximum of 3 months covering the period from the loss of employment and re-employment, and to establish an insurance fund for this purpose. Also, the budget has proposed to provide a health insurance similar to Agrohara health insurance system for private sector employees as well. Accordingly, Employees Trust Fund Act to be amended, incorporating the two schemes under the Employees Trust Fund. With the intention to regularize the beedi industry and deter people from beedi consumption, the budget has proposed to impose a tax of 2 rupees for beedi stick. In addition, other fees payable for obtaining of certificates and license will also be increased.
State Minister Shehan Semasinghe says the foundation required to establish a strong economy to rebuild the country has been created through the Budget 2023. He made these remarks during a media conference held at the Department of Government Information today to brief on the Budget 2023. State Minister Shan Semasinga said that the budget 2023 consists of required program for a new economy. He added that the budget has laid the foundation to establish a strong economy to rebuild the country. He pointed out that the government, including the president, expects to provide more assistance for people. However, if short-term plans are being made, then mid- and long-term economic stability will not be achieved.
And meanwhile, the governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, says Sri Lanka was able to avoid a crash landing of the country's economy and turn it into a soft landing, but not on a lower point. The governor further said that Sri Lanka needs to be implemented budget proposals and reform measures to start earning crucial foreign exchange to help stabilize its economy and ensure it does not return to crisis. Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe was addressing a post-budget seminar organized by the Central Bank this morning.
From my point of view, what I would like to highlight is the look at the process of both monetary and fiscal policy that has basically been complementing each other. First priority is to stabilize the economy that was going into a crash landing. If you can remember, the first thing I said when I took over the position, and it was obvious to everyone, the economy was going to have a crash landing. Soon after, the immediate policy package included sharp tightening of monetary policy to curtail the demand and minimize the monetary expansion and tighten monetary policy and reduce what we call the deficit financing by the central bank, and also announce a debt standstill which would prevent a hard default. If that happened, we would not be in a position even to restructure with our creditors without announcing, and it was obvious that we were level of resource we had and amount of obligations we had to meet on next even short term. And on top of that, there are a lot of shortages of essential items. We didn't have dollars to finance, support all these things, so we had to government and central bank had to announce that to the Secretary of Treasury. That was a package. Then obviously with that we commenced the negotiation with the IMF, we commenced the negotiation with our creditors to restructure debt, and we have made some progress. And also fiscal policy side, government also started, but which means still we are landed at a lower point. That is, economy is going to contract, inflation was going to go above, close to 100% food inflation, and average inflation, headline inflation was beginning to 70%. But if we did not take those actions at that point, the outcome would have been much worse, because we did not see the outcome. People now compare the situation now and difficulties people face now in terms of the soft landing, and if that was a crash landing, it would have been a much more severe. I don't think if we had that situation, and we would not be in this position to talk about the budget today. It would have been a completely different situation, not only from an economic landing, crash landing, but also political unrest, social unrest, political instability that we have seen a short period that was basically emerging, but the government and central bank have been able to manage that situation. Now we are in a situation, we are in a kind of stable, but at a very low point. But now what we can do going forward, I think next step is to, once we regain the stability, and then the recovery from that point onwards. This is where the budget I see here, look at the overall perspective of the short-term stabilization measures and the results that we see today as a result of those measures. And one important, from the central bank point of view, is the inflation that was going to go above 100% and going into a situation hyperinflation. Now, as a result of the tight monetary policy measures we have introduced, as a result of the guidance we have given to the market, we have been able to stabilize the exchange rate, which was going like a kite without the control. We have been able to manage that situation. Now we see inflation, in our view, has already peaked last month. It's a downward trend. This is a first important and positive result we see as a result of the package that we introduced together with the government. Now, next steps is to get ready for there are some more steps. We will talk about this getting financing assurances and complete the debt restructuring process and get the IMF approval to disperse the external financing that we are not having still. We are managing with only exports and remittances, but we have been able to manage the situation, and the situation has been much better than what we saw in the past. Now, going forward, this is why if you look at the budget for 2023, it doesn't talk about all these things. It's all about, with the confidence that the economy will be stabilized next year. So what are the next important structural reforms? What are the next important reforms that would prevent us falling back into this kind of a crisis going forward? So if you look at the root causes of this crisis, we all understand it's not only the last 2-3 years, some of the policy steps, but over a period of time, key one is the fiscal imbalance, that we have been running large fiscal deficits, and as a result, we have been piling huge debt, both external and domestic, and we have been basically living out of the borrowings, government separately, and the country as a whole in terms of foreign exchange. Government has been running large fiscal deficits, which has basically caused large current account deficits for the whole country, and the country and the government both have been living out of borrowing. So for going forward, for us to come out of this crisis, we have to address the root causes of the imbalances. That is where I think what I see the value in the last several measures, and the medium to long-term fiscal path is to basically address that root cause. This is where government will have to collect more revenues and curtail the expenditure, maintain a sustainable level of the sovereign debt, and as a result, there will be benefit from the overall macro point of view for the monetary policy, exchange rate policy, and external current account.
After 11 years, we have some exciting news. What a great time it is, Charita, to be a part of 8 billion people in the world.
Yes, Sharon, and the world's population has reached 8 billion people today, and according to the UN estimates, which consider this is a milestone in human development. The girl born in Manila is one of the newborns symbolizing being the 8 billionth person in the world. Baby Vinci Mabazang was born at Dr. Joseph Fabela Memorial Hospital. Vinci's mother, Maria Margarete Villaronti, said that she is happy that her daughter is considered as the world's 8 billionth baby. The latest projections by the United Nations suggest that the global population could grow to around 8.5 billion in 2030, 9.7 billion in 2050 and 10.4 billion in 2100. The annual World Population Prospect Report released yesterday notes that the global population is growing at the slowest rate in 1950, having fallen to less than 1% in 2020. While it took the global population 12 years to grow from 7 to 8 billion, it takes approximately 15 years until 2037 to reach 9 billion, a sign that the overall growth rate of the global population is slowing. In 2022, the two most populous religions were both in Asia, Eastern and Southern Eastern Asia with 2.3 billion people, and Central and Southern Asia with 2.1 billion. China and India, with more than 1.4 billion each, accounted for most of the population in these two regions. More than half of the projected increase in global population up to 2050 will be concentrated in just 8 countries such as Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Nigeria, Pakistan, the Philippines and Tanzania. According to the UN estimates, India is projected to surpass China as the world's most populous country during 2023.
Now on to the weather update for you. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur in many parts of the country after 2 p.m. today. The department has further indicated that rains up to 100 millimeters will occur in several areas in the southern, Sabaragamuwa and Uwa provinces. Showery conditions expected to prevail in the coastal regions of the northern, eastern and southern provinces during morning hours. Misty conditions can be expected in the western, Sabragamu, Uva and central provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts during the morning. General public has been requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in sea areas around the island. Winds will be northeasterly or variable in direction and the wind speed will be from 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. Many low-lying areas in Dadala, Atamaga, Sandhya, Paragoda areas in Bulat-Sinhala Divisional Secretariat Division have been inundated following the overflowing of the Kuda Ganga. Meanwhile, one sluice gate of the Kukule Ganga reservoir has also been opened this morning.
Colombo Magistrate Court has granted bail for 15 individuals, including former parliamentarian Hirunika Premachandra. Colombo Chief Magistrate Nandana Amarasinghe ordered today to release the individuals on a cash bail worth 10,000 rupees and 5 million rupees worth surety bail each. The police informed the courts that former MP Hirunika Premachandra, also with the others, were attempted to conduct a protest at the Independence Square in Colombo. The police further indicated that under the Public Administration Circular, such protests are prohibited from taking place in the relevant site. The police also said that the protesters had interfered with their duties with attempting to march towards the President's house. The magistrate postponed the hearing until February 13th next year after deliberating on the submissions. And meanwhile, President Xi Jinping's special envoy Lin Sogyata says Sri Lanka's infrastructure, facilities, human resources and other required facilities are in a place to attract foreign investments.
The ambassador further indicated that necessary legal reforms are to be enacted to proceed with the relevant process. President of the Chinese Association for Friendship with Foreign Countries, Ambassador Ling Songtian, called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Ambassador Songtian said the Colombo port city could attract global investors if necessary reforms are enacted and an investor-friendly atmosphere is established. He added that the country has all the ingredients, including skilled youth resources needed for leap forward in industrial and agricultural development. The Prime Minister assured the Chinese delegation that the top priority of the government is to establish necessary legislations to ensure speedy clearance on investment proposal submitted by foreign partners. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said yesterday that they handed over some of 9,025 million rupees to the wife of Mr. Amarakirti Attukorala, the former Polonnaruwa district MP of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, who was killed by the assailants on the 9th of May.
The members of the parliament contributed for the relevant donation. The Deputy Speaker Ajit Rajapaksa handed over the relevant cheque to the President at the ruling party's group meeting held yesterday at the Parliament complex, and the President presented the cheque to the family of former MP Amarakirti Attukorala. Around 183 members of Parliament donated money for the purpose. The President was also requested to arrange for MP Amarakirti Attukorala's family to receive the pension entitled to MPs.
The world experienced and reached for many short-term benefits as opposed to long-term negative externalities. One of the main negative externalities is the harm against the nature and its wildlife. Despite there are short-term financial gains, people are also the victims of these long-term negative consequences. Fish tend to flock into one area of the ocean during certain times of the year for breeding purposes. Various schools of fish swimming in one location is considered one of the enchanting sights in the natural world. Accordingly, schools of the fish gather into one area of the ocean for breeding, and they often engage in these interactions near rock formations in the sea. As the fish breeding sites in Sri Lanka coastal area are rare and limited, the local fishermen are aware of these sites and engage in large-scale fish harvesting activities. Professor Tony Pradeep Kumar of the University of Ruana said the incident reported in Thalpitiya Wadduwa area yesterday is a similar situation. The local fishermen in Thalpitiya area managed to trap 15,000 kilograms of travelties in a fishing net, which are approximately worth close to 10 million rupees.
The Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, along with the partner organizations, has marked the launch of the Global Entrepreneurship Week. The ceremony of the Global Entrepreneurship Week was held yesterday at the ICTA Auditorium. Chairman of ICTA, Professor Malik Ranasinghe, and Acting Managing Director of Global Entrepreneurship Network of Sri Lanka, Suresh Dimel, were present at this occasion. The global entrepreneurship work will be continued until the 20th of this month. Over 80 events have been organized by 50 ecosystem enablers under 4 themes: ecosystem, education, inclusion and policy. In addition, a series of events will take place across the country to celebrate the empowerment of entrepreneurs as a driving force in the economy. Apart from entrepreneurs, activities was also being organized for school students, university students, regional startup hubs and enablers.
Now, representatives of the opposition, including several party leaders, submitted a joint statement to the Election Commission today. The statement, bearing the signatures of the opposition representatives, has alleged that the present government is attempting to postpone the elections. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, MPs Dallas Ala Peruma, Professor G.L. Pires, Dasiri Jayasekara, M.A. Sumantiran, Vasudeva Nanekara, Anurapia Darshanayapa, Chandima Veerakodi, Udaya Gamanpila, Jayantha Samaravira and Dilan Pereira were present at this occasion.
The urea fertilizer quantity required for the paddy cultivation in Maha season will be issued tomorrow. The relevant stocks will be issued through agrarian services centres situated across the country. The government decided to distribute the 22,000 metric tons of fertilizer arrived in a ship to Colombo port this morning among the farmers accordingly. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera was also present at the port premises to observe the fertilizer unloading process. Attention will be directed to monitor whether the standard weight of the fertilizer sacks is being maintained. The government expects to acquire several storage warehouses on lease basis to store the fertilizer, as all the warehouses belonging to the state fertilizer companies have already reached their capacities. United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization handed over 800 metric tons of urea fertilizer to the Ministry of Agriculture today. The relevant fertilizer stocks are expected to be distributed among the low-income earning families in 8 districts on free of charge.
But as the international community, we thought it was our duty to come together and provide whatever we could through donor funding to enable the smallholder farmers, the vulnerable farmers, get access to inputs, especially fertilizers, which was denied to them for the last 2 years due to various reasons. So while the funding from SURF will take care of farmers having land holdings up to half an acre in the 4 districts, we have more funding coming in from USAID, under which we are reaching out to 8 districts and 186,000 farmers. We have more funding coming from EU, under which we are reaching out to another 40,000 farmers. And I'm also happy to let all of you know that government of Japan also now is coming forth with another $4 million aid, which will be going toward procuring more fertilizer to help smallholder farmers. The fertilizer market, as you all know, is extremely volatile, and it becomes extremely difficult now to enter a contract and bring fertilizer into the country, and government officials, Malti sitting here, she will know how difficult it is to strike a contract. This fertilizer was supposed to come about 2 months back, but the market conditions delayed it a bit. But I'm happy that it has come in time, and it will cater to the requirements of small farmers in Maha season.
I think we were able to really be up to the challenge and mobilize much needed support to the country. At the beginning, we did what you call humanitarian needs assessment, and we planned only to call for $45 million. The response of the Friends of Sri Lanka has been impressive, and rather than 45 million, we were able to raise nearly $79 million to support the most vulnerable population. That allowed us, over the last couple of months, to reach 1 million of the most vulnerable. Because of this success, we have now expanded our appeal and increased it to 145 million, counting again on the generosity of the international community and the Friends of Sri Lanka to support us and support the people of Sri Lanka with more funds.
The fertilizer donated from various donor agencies will be distributed using the existing government mechanism. I would like to thank all the members of the FAO.
Stay tuned for international news after this break.
Prima Stella Set Yogurt. ජයගන්න වැඩි වෙන්න.
உங்கள் கொடுக்கல் வாங்கல்களை இப்போது மிகவும் பாதுகாப்பாகவும் சௌகரியமாகவும் மேற்கொள்ளுங்கள். ஃபிங்கர் பிரிண்ட் அல்லது ஃபேஸ் ரெகக்னிஷனை ஆக்டிவ் செய்யுங்கள். பீப்பிள்ஸ் வே மக்கள் வங்கியிடமிருந்து.
To bring you the latest now from the G20 summit, which commenced in Bali, Indonesia, where world leaders have gathered to direct their attention over the middle income and poor countries across the globe.
The invasion of Ukraine is strongly condemned by most countries at the G20 summit, according to a draft of the declaration that the Reuters news agency has been. The war is causing immense human suffering and exacerbating existing fragilities in the global economy, the declaration says, though it seems to have not unanimous support from the statement. There were other waves and different assessments of the situation and sanctions, the draft says, which is yet to be adopted by leaders at the meeting. Russia's foreign ministry said that the G20 was not the place to discuss security issues and should instead prioritize the world's economic challenges.
Prima Stella Set Yogurt.
ජයගන්න වැඩි වෙන්න.
A bit of a celebration for the Holy Family Convent Kurunagala as they emerged champions for the netball tournament. Now, the tournament took place at the Albert Perez Stadium in Bednapur.
Teams representing 800 schools across the country took part in this tournament. The schools championship was held under the 4 categories from under 13 to under 19. In the finals of the under 13 category, Holy Family Convent Kurunagala won against Maliyadeva Girls School Kurunagala by 9 points to 6. Meanwhile, Holy Family Convent Kurunagala competed against Ambalangoda Devananda Vidyalaya in the under 15 category finals. Accordingly, Holy Family Convent won the match by 28 points to 10. Holy Family Convent also secured win under the under 17 category finals against Maliyadeva Girls College by defeating them 34 points to 24. The finals of the under-19 category was held between Holy Family Convent Kurunagala and Kaluthara Girls School. Holy Family Convent won the match by 27 points to 13. Accordingly, Kurunagala Holy Family Convent secured championship of all age categories of the tournament.
Only 5 days to go to some of the biggest world in sports. The FIFA takes place in under 8 groups, 32 countries. We can't wait for the excitement.
Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico and Poland are competing from Group C. Argentina is considered as the favourites of the group to qualify for the knockout stage. Argentina is currently in the 3rd position of the world football rankings and 7 times Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi is the powerful player of the strongest Argentinian lineup. Argentina has won the World Cup twice in the history. They will compete against world ranking 13th Mexico and Poland, led by one of the Europe's football ball stars, Robert Lewandowski. The first match of the ground will be between Argentina and Saudi Arabia. The Group D consists of France, Australia, Denmark and Tunisia. Defending champions France are the favourites to qualify for the knockout rounds of the World Championship. France has won the World Cup twice in history. Denmark currently in the 10th position of the world rankings, while Tunisia is ranked in the 13th position. Australia, the FIFA World Cup will live telecast on the national television.
Prima Stella Set Yogurt.
ජයගන්න වැඩි වෙන්න.
So don't miss the action. It's all coming up on ChannelEye. With that, we wrap up our news for today. Do join us tomorrow at the very same time. Take care.